before I go into the tutorial and show you how I do my smoky eye, I wanted to explain a little bit about the eye area because I will talk about it while I'm doing the actual tutorial. So the way I look at my eye is in three parts. This part is called the mobile lid. And the reason why it's called the mobile lid is when we blink, that's the part that actually moves. So I'll refer to this part of the eye that is from the lash line through to the crease here in your eye as the mobile lid. Then that crease in the middle of your eye is called the socket eye. So when I'm explaining how to apply it on your socket eye, it's that crease between the mobile lid and this upper part of your eye. The upper part of your eye under the actual eyebrow is called the brow bone. So if I refer to the brow bone, we're talking about this area here. So mobile lid, socket eye, brow bone, okay? So that's what I want to talk about so you understand when I'm doing the tutorial what I'm talking about. Now, when people think about a smoky eye, they think about a black, heavy, dark eye. Now, that's not necessarily the case. Smoky eye isn't so much the color, it's the technique of the eye. So when we're talking about a smoky eye, usually a smoky eye is basically when the one solid color is all over the mobile lid, up on the socket eye and blended into the brow bone. That's a traditional smoky eye. Now, you'll see a lot of makeup artists and tutorials and Instagram makeup artists. What they do is they'll create a lighter eye on the inner mobile lid, then they'll create the darker shade on the outer. Now, when I did my training, that was called a classic eye. Smoky eye is all the way over the mobile lid and under the under the lash line here. And classic eye was basically smoking up just the end of your mobile lid into your socket and up onto your brow bone. So things are slightly changed. They still consider it a smoky eye, doing it the classic eye, which is lighter on the inner, darker on the end, but it's not so much the color. So don't think of it as a traditional black is the smoky eye, because you can create a smoky eye with color. And if you go through my Instagram at Coco Rouge _face and body, you'll see other looks with different colors that create that smoky eye illusion using colors. But today I'm going to do a traditional smoky eye, so using black charcoals, and I'm actually going to use some purples and deep colors like that. I just want to show you how to prep your eye, how to build up the intensity, how to try and minimize fallout that falls onto your eye here, and any other tips and tricks that I can show you. Now, before you start with a smoky eye, because it is such a dramatic look, I definitely recommend doing your eyes first before you do your face. What you risk is fallout on your foundation, and that's basically the residue of your product going on your mobile lid falling onto your cheek areas, and that basically will shadow your foundation, leave it messy, and then trying to get that off is a nightmare and near impossible. Now, before doing your smoky eye, it is super important to prep your eyelids. Now, when I talk about prepping your eyelids, it's basically to create a perfect surface so the eyeshadow pigment can stick to the eye and stay there without budging. Now, it's slightly different for all skin types, but what I do is I will put on some foundation, then I'll put a tiny bit of concealer on my mobile lid, and then I'll set it with some pressed powder. Now, if you have oily eyelids, I recommend moisturizing with oil-free moisturizer first, and then obviously using your oil-free foundation or anything that's going to make it more of a matte finish. this point you can do your eyebrows. I tend to like to do my eyes first before I do my eyebrows, but again, personal preference. If you prefer to do your eyebrows, do them now. Otherwise, you can do them with me when we do them after our actual eyeshadow. Now, to get the perfect intensity smoky eyeshadow, smoky eye, using black, I always start with a matte eyeshadow first, and that will go over the mobile lids. So let's go and do that. Now, when you apply product onto your brush, only apply it on one side of your brush, meaning if you're using a flat brush, only apply the product on one side, and don't be afraid to put extra product on there. And then on a towel or a tissue or whatever, the side that you don't have product on, just gently wipe off excess that may have got onto that other side with no product. Then also, because we want to avoid any fallout, even if we are doing our eyes first, I will grab my brush and I will tap it. And then that will actually get rid of any excess product in your brush. Then again, I'll add product and repeat the same thing. Yeah. Perfect. So we're not rubbing it, we're actually dabbing. I'll do it in a slower motion for you to see. And get right into the socket line. Yeah. Okay, get more product, wipe the back, tap it. Now see here on the mobile lid it's bare. Get in lower, and then if it's still a little bit bare, flip your brush upside down and get in close. Okay. Now it might be easier to look down into a mirror. That keeps your eye a bit closed. Okay, now to build up intensity, now I'm using a very heavily pigmented eyeshadow by Tarte Cosmetics in Tartlette, which I'll put on this video. But you just have to keep applying product to your brush and then putting it on your eye. Okay, now dabbing. If you're brushing it like this, it's not going to go on evenly and it's not going to build up that intense color that you want. Okay, now don't worry because we haven't blended yet. We're just applying it to the mobile lid for intensity. Yeah, remember, a matte black eyeshadow first. Put product on your brush, wipe the excess, and then go on to the other side. See if I brush it, see how all that fallout came on? See how here you've got minimum fallout, but here it just got really messy. Now don't worry, we will wipe that off, but I just wanted to show you because all that product is just wiping off and creating dust where it doesn't need to go. Now next we're going to move on to the socket eye. So again, don't worry about this excess because we're going to blend that. Still using your matte eyeshadow. Again, only put product on one side of your brush. Tap out the excess. Now the part of the brush that you have got color on is going to be facing towards your bridge of your nose. Okay, so now I start applying it to the socket eye. Yep. And bring it in into that socket eye, meaning that crease in the middle of your eye. Just with a medium-sized brush first to put in the actual product. Build up that intensity. Now you're going to get your fluffy brush and you're going to blend that in your socket eye. on your inner eye to blend a bit, we use a small brush. That's to soften any skips in the skin. Okay. Now don't panic if your eye is looking completely messy or your skin's looking completely messy. It'll all come together at the end of the video and you'll see. Keep blending. The basics that I've done so far. So I've done my mobile lid, I've done my socket eye, I've done my brow bone. Now I'm going to add some depth. Some depth meaning a little bit of dimensions with some shimmers and some glitters and all that sort of jazz, and that will give it an even intense look. So now I'm going in with the black shimmer glitter, sorry, eyeshadow palette by BYS. And this will just go onto my brow, onto my mobile lid, and I dab it on as well. Now, if I was going to keep it as a matte look, I'd keep adding matte color to intensify the blackness. But because I know I'm adding shimmer and glitter to this look, I'm not going to do that. Now this glitter eyeshadow palette by BYS is actually their cream glitters. So that's why you'll probably notice that they look a little bit wet as well as shimmery. And that's fine because it's actually easier to apply. Again, to intensify your color, dab it, don't wipe it. I don't think you could wipe these. Oh, I like that. Nice and wet. Don't forget that you don't need to be scared to get in there and add as much as you feel comfortable to do. Black is so intense, so you just need... Look at that already. Changes the look already. I'm going to go up a tiny bit. Okay, not too far up. Now I am going to blend it with your fluffy brush a little. That's the beauty of makeup. Well, it's probably not the beauty because everyone tends to panic a little. If you stuff this up, the bonus is you can just wipe it off and start again. So don't be scared to try. You know, and I know with all my intense looks, I get so panicked because when I start them, they look so messy and gross, and I think that I've made a mistake and maybe I should have gone for a different color or a different look, because right now that looks scary, all right? But I know that when I'm done, it's going to look fabulous. Now this is going to add even more of depth into the color because you don't have to leave it just one color. So we can actually get in there and add a bit more color so it's not just black. So I'm going to do a bit of purple. Now with this, it's just on your brow bone. Apply it almost solidly and then you're going to use a fluffy brush to blend. You're only doing it in this section because you only want a little bit there to give it the depth. Now you can add any color you want. You don't have to use purples, you can use pinks, you can use any other color that you like. Fluffy brush. completely finished, but I need to finish my eyes before I can finish the rest of my face. So now I've done my eyebrows, done my foundation, a slight contouring, but nothing too dramatic. So I want to get under the eye and smoke that up. So you're going to do it in the same way. You're going to put some product on your brush, wipe the excess off on the other side, get as close underneath as you can. Now, see me doing that? It's really important now not to put any fallout onto your foundation. So make sure you are flicking off any excess, okay? And then that blowing bit upwards, it's just to get rid of any loose flakes that are not stuck to the foundation yet. Now, I always tilt my head forward when I'm doing this, because if anything falls, I'm hoping that it's going to miss my cheek and just fall off my face. Now, that's my excuse and I'm sticking to it. Remember, flick, 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 flick. Get as close to the bottom lash line as possible. So then you don't have the eyeshadow, a nude skin line, and then your eyeliner. So you try and get as close to the lash line, even on the lash line, as possible. And then you use a socket brush, which is, I'll show you, a socket brush like this. Get in there to blend it up. And that's just to soften it. Now make sure in the corner here that you've got enough product that's going to blend your top lids and your bottom ones together. So even if you just dab a bit of product there and then get your socket brush and go in there, almost to merge them together. Now you can soften that line on the end. Now I'm not using a liquid liner today. I think it's quite dramatic, so it will just get lost in there. And you can drag these down as far as you like, depending on how smoky you want it to look. Yep. It's taking shape now. So now you start thinking, oh, I haven't stuffed it up. Yeah, this is when I'm starting to go, right, I can see my vision is coming to life. Yeah. Okay. Loving that. And this is the end result. A very dramatic, eccentric, smoky eye. Hope these tips helped you out. Don't forget to subscribe at the end. Thanks for your love. Thanks for watching. See you next time.